Oh, Chris has got a giant. Chris has got a big one. Oh, it's a giant. It's a giant, Chris. Oh. What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode. Today we are fishing with my good buddy Chris, and we are fishing my absolute favorite way. I'm going to show you guys how I like to offshore jig fish. So we're going to put this little Googan Squad, little juicy jig to the test. Little 5/16 ounce, and I got a little Kraken Crawl trailer on there. I'm going to show you guys how I rig this up, how I trim the brush guard, the skirt, all that good stuff, and we're going to try to catch some big old bass for you guys offshore. So stick around, stay tuned. I haven't really had a chance to use this little juicy jig, so this is my first time we're really putting it to the test and seeing if we can crack some big ones on it. So let's get after it, guys, and we're starting on this point right here. There should be some big ones. Oh, Chris, we got him on the little juicy jig. On the little juicy jig. It's a good one. It's a good one, Chris. It's a freaking big one, boys. It's a freaking big one, boys. It's a freaking big one, boys. That's what I'm talking about. She's got it down her dang throat. Check that out right there. First bass of the day, a big, beautiful 3-pounder. And she's got the little juicy down her dang throat. We're gonna be showing y'all how to throw the jig today. Gonna be doing some offshore fishing and hopefully catching a bunch of bass just like that right there. Absolutely gorgeous fish. Okay, boys and girls, first bass of the day. Big, beautiful one right there. Got some awesome markings on her tail, but we're gonna get this fish back in the water. We're gonna be doing a lot of offshore jig fishing today, and hopefully, like I said, that was like my first cast out here, boys. We just got us a nice one. Let's get her back in the water, try to catch a few more for you guys. Giving you guys all the dirty little secrets to offshore jig fishing. Like, check that fish out. Beautiful. Let's get some more. So the way that we just caught that fish right there is we're fishing this main lake point right here. Currently, we're sitting in 19 foot of water, and this point comes up really fast up onto a main lake flat. And what we're doing with this jig is we're casting it off that break line in about 15 foot of water. There's a lot of big grass clumps down there, and those big fish are starting to move offshore. They're done spawning. Water temperature is almost 80 degrees. It's gonna be like 90 degrees out here today. And we're gonna throw this jig around. We're trying to find those big post-spawn fish, but I'm gonna give you guys more tips as we go along. But that was legit like my first or second cast. I don't even know. So let's try to get another big one in the boat, guys. That thing freaking crushed the little juicy. Oh, Chris, I got one. Yes. Chris, they're out here. It's a decent one. It's a decent one. Yeah, it's all right. It's all right. It's all right. After like a 3-pounder, it doesn't feel like that much, but we're out here throwing that jig, and that was like 2 casts after that last one. Nice little chunky, like 14-incher right there. Get her back in the water, but all we're doing, like I said, we're fishing this break line, and there's all these weed clumps. I'm dragging this jig down there as slow as I possibly can, just kind of hopping it out every time I feel a little patch of grass. And those fish are crushing it. When you get a bite on a jig offshore, guys, it will freaking rock your socks off. They are crushing this jig, but little juicy. Like I said, my first impressions, this thing is getting bit right now. Chris is throwing a little football jig back there, a little bit bigger profile, and I think that this smaller jig might be the ticket to getting some of these bass that are out here. But let me get another Kraken Crawl out. I told you guys I'd show you how I'm rigging it, and what I'm doing is, since we're throwing this little finesse jig, is I'm taking the first 2 notches off the top of this crawl right there, trimming it down to a nice little compact size, and then what you do is you line it up on your jig like so. See where it's going to pop out at, and you just thread her on there. Try to get that craw on as straight as possible, and you are good to go. Break those claws apart. And also, like I said, what I do, I actually didn't trim the skirt in this video. I mentioned that I was thinking about it, but I did not. But what I did is I trimmed down this brush guard a little bit. It was a little bit thick for my liking, especially when you're doing that offshore jig fishing. Those fish are down deep. You want to make sure you stick them. So I took this brush guard and I took about half of these little thistles off there. And what you got is the perfect little bite-sized snack to slay some offshore bass. So let's see if we can get a few more over here. Okay, if they're not on this point, Chris, I don't know what to tell you. All right, we're gonna have to hop lakes. We're trying this, guys. We got those 2 bites right off the bat. Thought the offshore bite was gonna go dumb, and the only thing that's got dumber is me, because my brain cells are dying off at an alarming rate right now. If we don't catch a bass soon, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Got one, dude. Yes. Little guy. Is it a little smallmouth bass, huh? Told you guys they're gonna pull up in this point and catch a few, but Chris just got a nice little smallmouth there. Very small, very small. And I don't know what's going on right there. All right. Yeah, get that thing back in the water, dude. Oh, Chris. Oh, God. Jump. It had to be a pike. I would like.
Clean break, isn't it?
Oh, and there it is. It's a freaking bass. Are you kidding me?
It's a smallie.
Dude, we need to get the heck off this lake right now. This is not our day. That's unbelievable. What the heck just happened?
Already getting bit.
Oh my gosh. Oh, there we go, Chris. There we go. Feels like a smallmouth. She's got those head shakes. Oh, it's gotta be a big smallie, Chris. It's gotta be a big old smallie. She freaking crushed the jig. What do we got here? Oh, it's a big largemouth. Okay, we're both wrong. We done just stuck us a daggone toad right there. Big old 3-pounder. Jig in the top of the mouth. I popped it out of some real juicy grass, and that's the bite we've been looking for all day, wouldn't you say? So boys and girls, we have been struggling out here, as you guys have seen, but I'm trying to show you guys can get some absolutely killer bites on that offshore jig bite right there. But throwing that little Catchco football jig, we lost all of our Guggen Squad jigs, snapped off by pike and smallmouth bass and who the heck knows what else, but there we go. All right, awesome fish. Gonna get her back in the water and try to catch a few more for y'all. That is the perfect largemouth bass right there. Came out of about 25 foot of water too, right off this point. We were sitting 30 and I was casting a little bit shallower. I thought that was gonna be a big smallmouth bass. Chris thought it was gonna be a pike, and it ended up being a big, healthy, beautiful largemouth on that little Catchco football jig.
Hey, what's happening?
Oh, Chris has got one! Chris has got one.
It's big, it's big.
Load it up right here.
It's big.
Dude, legit, right after I just caught that like 3-pounder. Oh man, Chris has got a nice one. Oh, Chris has got a giant. Chris has got a big one. Chris has got a freaking big one on the jig. Get him in, Chris, get him in. Oh, it's a giant. It's a giant, Chris. Oh. Yo, we're gonna get that one on the scale, Chris. We're gonna get that one on the scale.
It's a toad.
That's like a 5-pounder.
Let's go.
Oh, we might have the scale in here actually. Oh my gosh.
It's inside.
It's a freak, Chris. Chris, it's a freak on the jig. Okay, boys and girls, we're gonna stick this one in the live well just for a second. I think that my scale is in the truck, so we're gonna see if we can catch a few more fish off that spot right there. But Chris just caught a freak. I just got bit like 3 times in a row, and I was messing around with that fish, and then Chris smokes back on that absolute brute. So we're gonna try to catch a few more. This fish is gonna be perfectly fine in the live well really quick, and we're gonna go get the scale. I hope that it's in my truck. I'm pretty sure that it is, but I would bet any money that that fish is over 5 pounds, and we just want to see what it is, because that is a Michigan giant right there. But offshore jig fishing, baby, you can catch some big ones. Let me tell you, that fish probably came in about 15. He casted a little bit shallower, but we're about to roll back up on that spot and see if there's any more giants up there. There we go. That's where we want it. Got him, Chris. Got him. It's a good one. It's a good one. It's not a giant or anything. Not a freaking 5 or 6 pounder, but you know, we'll take them. We'll take them, you know, just a nice little like 2-pounder. Freaking crushed the Catchco football jig. That's 3 bass in a row right there. Boys, we freaking found them. That offshore jig bite, we've been bouncing around. That's the thing too. When you're doing this, we've been bouncing around from spot to spot to spot. But when you find them, you find them. Just got them loaded up right there. Nice little like probably 15, 16 inch fish. Nothing too crazy after seeing Chris's. Oh, here we go. There we go, Chris. Chris, we got him. We got him. I don't know how big it is. It felt very large on the hook set. Now it's not feeling quite as big. Oh, it's a, dude, it's a big one. It's a big one, Chris. It's a big one, Chris. Oh, buddy, dude. The freaking jig is the move, boys. Oh my gosh. That's like another about 3-pounder, give or take, maybe a little bit less. Gonna toss that one there in the box with Chris's for a second. Like I said, we're gonna get that weight on Chris's in just a minute here. We're actually probably gonna leave the lake pretty soon, surprisingly, even though the fishing is pretty good right now. But once you get them dialed, boys, this offshore jig bite, it's the deal. So boys and girls, we are back at the boat launch. We're gonna get Chris's fish on the scale. I think that it's gonna be around 5 pounds, but you have to see what this thing spit up in the live well. And absolutely massive, decrepit looking bluegill. This thing had like a 5 or 6 inch bluegill down its throat, and it still ate Chris's jig. But let me show you guys what this thing spit up to. Pull that thing out, Chris. Check that chunk of meat out right there. A freaking bluegill. Dude, what do you gotta say about that right there?
I wish he hadn't thrown it up.
I wish he would have had it in his mouth, right?
If that would have happened during a tournament and I lost by the weight of that bluegill,
that would have sucked.
Would have been issues.
That would have been bad. All right. All right, Chris. toss that fish on the scale. Let's see if she could go 5 pounds. And we just know in our heart that if it had that bluegill, it'd be about a 1/4 pound more, but we'll see what she is without the gill. Check her out, you hold it, you hold the scale. Hold her up, see what we got here.
Yeah, you tell me.
It looks like it is 4.67. Just a hair shy of 5 pounds. She would have been a lot closer with that gill.
Just a bluegill shy of 5 pounds.
Just a bluegill shy of 5. That's a freaking tank right there. Absolutely beautiful largemouth bass. You're going the wrong way, honey. Oh, under the boat. All right, there she goes. Dude, Chris. Boom. Okay, boys and girls, just got this one on the scale too. This is one of the last ones I caught. It was 3 1/4, and I don't even think that that was the biggest one I got today. So we had like 3 or 4 around like 3.5 pounds, and then Chris's almost 5 pounder right there. Getting this fish back in, and I'm gonna do a little wrap up for you guys, just talk about the jig a little bit more for y'all. But really quick too, MVP of the day, I didn't even mention it, but we were scooping up those big fish in the old Ego S2 slider. I don't know if you guys saw, but when Chris had that big one, I had it fully extended, scooped her up. But if you guys want to check this out, it's going to be in the description down below. So that is where we're going to wrap this video up. Chris's fish went almost 5 pounds, and in our defense, it looked a lot bigger when it had that bluegill down its throat. But had an awesome time out there, caught an almost 5 pounder, caught quite a few other 3s, and every single fish came on that 3/8 ounce football jig, with the exception of the little juicy that was thrown at the beginning that pike stole away. But you guys got to get out there, try throwing some of those football jigs around. You're going to catch some giant bass, especially this time of year. It is freaking sweltering hot out here, like 90 degrees, sun's in the sky. Boats everywhere on the lake, and those fish are eating right now. But Chris and I are probably gonna go get some food, cool down, then we're gonna go film some more stuff for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, definitely consider subscribing and liking this video. It helps me out a ton. But thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next one.